it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Wait.
Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Wolf Ridge Woodworking. Today we are turning a Gatsby pen from Penn State. It's in antique copper. And let's see if it'll focus today. That is the pen kit we are turning. I'll have the link to it in the description. And we are going to pair this with a Red Wood, not Red World, whatever that is, but a Red Wood Stabilized Burl pen. As you can see, I don't know if it'll come out on the camera or not, but it is pretty crooked. But luckily this is a single pin tube pen, and I think we can get a straight piece or straight enough piece here at the end, so it should be okay. I think I'll have enough left over to use this in something else. But so we're going to mark our tube or our pin blank, leaving a little bit of extra for, you know, if it blows out during the drilling. So we are going to take this over to the saw and get it cut and get it ready for the tube. So meet me over at the bandsaw. Now that we have the blank cut to size, we need to drill a hole for the brass tube, and that drill bit is a 27/64 inch bit. So we are going to go ahead and drill this through, and be careful when we get to the end so that we make sure that we don't like blow out the end. And but I do have enough left over to account for that, but I don't like to use that if I don't have to. So let's get started. So we are going to be turning or drilling this today at 500 RPM. So let's get the lathe turned down a little bit. Otherwise we'll be making fire if we got it up too fast. Right, so now we've got our blank drilled and we need to put the pen tube in. So it is already pre-scruffed, but you know, if you're making any other pen that you know, may not be a Gatsby in this case, but let's say you're just turning any other one and the tube comes in, it's not pre-scuffed up, go ahead and just run some paper, sandpaper over it, rough it up, and it just gives the super glue something a little bit better to stick to with the wood. So we are going to apply a liberal amount, not talking politics, but a liberal amount of glue. And we are just going to insert it and just move it around and make sure that glue gets well coated on the tube. And just put it just below the surface. And I just wipe it off. And then just wipe off the excess from the wax paper here. And we're just going to let this sit for a little bit and dry. So now we're going to use the sander to square off the ends and get it to the to just where the brass tubes are showing. So today we're going to be using our carbide tools, a square cutter to rough it down to the size, and then a round cutter to get it to the final smooth finish. And we're going to be turning this around 1400 to 1600 RPMs. And let's get after it. So now we're going to slow down the speed of the lathe down to about 1000 RPM to go through the grits. So we're going to go from 150 all the way up to 400 grit and get this it's already pretty smooth, but we're just going to get it a little bit smoother and then apply our finish. So now we've got our non-stick bushings on. We are going to clean it with a little bit of alcohol. It's always my favorite spot or point, because you get to actually get a preview of what it's going to look like after you got the super glue on it, or the CA, depending on where you're at. And that is beautiful with all the little knots in there for the burl. Beautiful. So we're going to let this go for a few minutes and let it dry, and we'll be back with the super glue finish. And now we're going to sand it through the micro mesh from 1500 to 12,000 grit, and to get a mirror finish on it. So we're ready for assembly. I have the parts laid out according to the instructions, and the first step that we need to do is insert in either end, because it is the same bushing size on both ends. So they just insert it into the barrel. Let's go this way. Okay. Just going to get it started. Important to make sure that it's not not threaded, because there's no threads, but just crossed, and make sure that it's in flush. Okay, so it's a good connection. So the next thing that we have to do is to press the cap assembly into the other end of the blank. Let's open this up a little bit more. Maybe that was a little too much. Yeah. Okay. Alrighty, and that's a good connection. So now we can screw on the tip, and we can drop the pin assembly down in there with just screw the assembly in. Okay. Now press the cap in. Okay. And there we go. Well, I thought we had it. There. Just this one, it's unscrewed. Now, there it goes. Probably just need to work it a little bit. It's a little tight, but there it goes. Okay. So again, you know what? I wasn't even looking at the camera. I don't even know if that was in frame. Hopefully it was. Otherwise, hopefully my description was good. So here's the assembled pin, and I will put some pictures at the end. So thank you for joining me today on another project at Wolf Ridge Woodworking. I hope to see you again. And please, if you could, if you like the video, please like it. If you want to see more projects like this, please subscribe. And if there's anybody else out there that you want to share this with, I'd really appreciate it if you'd share it with them. So I will see you next time. Have a blessed day.